Some Kentucky startups just received a major boost. The Bluegrass AgTech Awards just handed out more than $500,000 to help with agricultural innovation in the state.
Lucy Bryson tells us more about the companies that received those grants.
7 Kentucky businesses are walking away with a combined $625,000 prize. 5 of those businesses are based right here in Lexington.
Red Leaf, also based in Lexington. Congratulations.
Red Leaf, Parasite, Lepidex, Spirited, and Sunflower Fuels are the 5 Lexington-based businesses that now have grants fulfilled by Bluegrass AgTech Development Corp incentives.
The support that you all have provided for us all is so appreciated, and it will ensure through innovation that Kentucky agriculture evolves to remain an integral part of the backbone of the U.S. economy.
The grants are designed to encourage ag tech and food-based businesses to plant their roots in Kentucky and benefit agriculture here. 29 businesses applied, 7 walked away with funds.
The horse capital of the world is on its way to a second title, the ag tech capital of the country.
While Bluegrass AgTech strives to connect businesses with investors, it also provides these 7 lucky winners with additional support. Examples of that include mentorships, referrals, research teams, and various developmental assistance.
As we know, nothing good gets done today without partnerships.
It was a tremendous process, really competitive. So these individuals here today, you should be really proud of you.
Not just to develop Lexington's economy, but make a mark on the world through agriculture. In Lexington, I'm Lucy Bryson, WKYT.
Lexington contributed $1 million to establish the grants and get the partnership started. The state also provided $1 million to the Kentucky Agricultural Development Fund.